Welcome back to the Freak Show. I am Finley, and today we are going to talk about nose ring theory. I kind of have an idea about what this is, but also not really. I think that the theory, from my basic understanding, is that women who have these bull nose rings are, like, really, retarded. I think that's the theory. So let's find out.
Again, guys, I've got a fun one for you today that I think you're gonna find interesting. Nose ring theory. And I just know that when I say that, half of you are gonna be confused, and the other half of you somehow know exactly what I'm talking about, even if you've never heard of it before. I will explain everything I've learned about this theory, show you some examples, and then give you my 2 cents on this whole thing. So, to take you on the journey that I went down to get here, I'll show you the video that I first saw that introduced me to this whole thing.
So I'm 24 years old, and I've been trying my hand at dating men specifically for
wait, I have to move. Wait,
so
that you guys can see. I have to move. I'll go to the other side. I am never on this side because I feel like my tail gets in the way, and I feel like I turn the wrong way, but just for the purposes of watching this clip, I think these nose rings look fucking stupid, but that's just me.
serious way. I'm single at the moment. My boyfriend and I just broke up recently, and I have probably dated about like 4 to 5 men, seriously. Keep running into the same issues every single time I date a man, and I've been trying to really get to the root of what it is. And now I know what you're thinking. You probably have a type. I do not have a type. These men don't know each other. They're not friends. They're not from the same area. They don't look alike. I really do not have a type. The only thing that these men have in common is that they are men. I really have been reflecting a lot and trying to figure out what the root of all these issues is. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, but I'm not the reason that any of these relationships ended. One of the main issues that I've come to recognize is that I don't think men are
none
really
of them
socialized
are
to
your
know what
fault.
it means to
None.
truly love someone, love their partner and care for their partner. Obviously, I'm not saying this is all men, but I think it's just not normalized for them to I don't know, I guess I don't know how to phrase it. What I'm saying, for example, is that every single one of these men individually has looked me in my eyes and told me that I am the love of their life, I'm the most important person in their life, that they would take a bullet for me, and every single one of them has
red
flags.
I
don't know about you, but when I tell somebody they're the love of my life and that they're the person I care about the most, I show it. I'm treating them accordingly. Part of it that really trips me up is that they believe it. They actually believe in their heart that I'm the love of their life and I'm the person they care about the most. I started calling it out. I would be like, you do not love me and you do not care about me. Point blank, period.
Love
Otherwise,
bombing.
you wouldn't be treating me badly.
Maybe.
And
Or she's
and they get
hyperbolic. Maybe she's
offended. They get offended. I honestly pity them because
maybe
I
this
don't
is all
think they're
hyperbole.
socialized to know what that means. And I don't know how to get it across in a meaningful way to them. They just don't listen. And I'll be like, okay, you wouldn't have done this bad thing to me if you actually loved me in the way that you say you do. That is not what love is. That's not what love is. When you love someone, you don't do things to intentionally or even unintentionally hurt them. Why is that considered love to you? I
think people fuck up,
I don't know where it's coming from. I honestly pity them because that has to be awful, but I can't handle it anymore, dude.
So in this video, this girl is describing her.
Okay, let me move back. That's better.
Her troubles with finding a good man. She insists that she doesn't have a type, that none of these men really have anything in common, but for some reason in the end they always end up treating her horribly. And this led many in the comments to speculate that it must be something about her that is the common denominator. And unfortunately, since it's such a short TikTok video and we don't really get much insight onto greater parts of her personality, and she's not very open about what her most major flaws are to figure out why.
So I feel like it's a red flag that she doesn't take accountability for, like, any part of the relationships, like, seems sus.
Why she's attracting such mean men or why her relationships are always driven to turmoil, people began to theorize, because it's one of the most noticeable things about her, that it could potentially have to do with the amount of piercings she has. In fact, these two comments right next to each other say, "The piercing theory is so true," with over 700 likes. And again, "Don't know, don't care, nose ring theory," with over 1,200 likes. So you might be wondering, like I did, what about having a bunch of metal in your face would cause someone to treat you poorly? I mean, sure, the style isn't everyone's type, but these men were clearly attracted enough to her to date her, so then what is it that's causing the relationships to not go well? So I decided to look into what these men were referencing when they talked about the piercing theory or the nose ring theory. And
Yes,
this was
tell
the
me,
top
Quinn.
video I found.
Have y'all ever heard of the septum piercing theory? If you have a septum piercing, you may not want to
Shit, I got why did she put everything on the left? Left is my side. Let me move again.
look it up. But I'm always the last person to hear about shit. So, this is common knowledge. It's dead ass. It's actually dead ass. Because it says that every person that has a septum piercing makes their trauma their entire personality.
And she agrees? It's dead ass.
Like I said, dead ass.
Damn, straight from the horse's mouth. Or maybe I should say straight from the bull's mouth. You know, because you get it. And if even the person with the nose ring is saying it's true, I mean, there's gotta be something there. And this is just even more hilarious when we take that theory and then reference back to the first video where the
let me
girl
move.
was
You know what? Let's just stay on the
making
side,
her
just in
relationship
case.
trauma her entire personality. Okay, that might have been a little reductive. After all, it was just one video. Surely her entire profile isn't like that.
Yo, you guys never told me how cool it is to have a dad. Like, this is a secret that's been kept from me, okay? I grew up with 3 moms. My mommy issues are off the charts.
Okay, sure. I mean, so maybe she doesn't have a dad and has a ton of self-proclaimed mommy issues, but that doesn't mean trauma's her entire personality.
I have psoriasis. Not like a little psoriasis, like all over my entire body. When I tell you, my whole body looks like this.
Okay, so she has a bit of medical trauma too, but I mean, there's more to her.
Nothing normal can ever happen to me. I think I attract chaos.
Okay, so attracting chaos, it might be a little red flag, but I mean, there's gotta be something normal here.
Not to be a man-hater or anything. Actually, no, fully to be a man-hater. Fully to be a man-hater.
Oh, okay, I guess she also just doesn't like men. I mean, you could have brought that up when you were theorizing on why your relationships with men might be going poor.
Yeah, like, how are you going to date men but hate men? That makes literally no fucking sense at all. Like, actually is retarded.
Really, I'm starting to connect the dots. Now, when I first started looking into nose ring theory, I didn't think that I would take it seriously at all. I thought it would just be a good laugh. But the more I looked into it, the more I think that it might actually hold some weight, because I did find quite a number of studies that have strong correlations between individuals with a lot of piercings and tattoos and how they are perceived and who they attract. This study seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos scored significantly higher than those without for sensation-seeking and risk-taking behaviors. This other study that I found seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos, specifically women, scored significantly higher for extroversion and assertiveness, meaning they are more aggressive socially. This study that I found in Psychology Today examines how people with tattoos and piercings are perceived, and the most popular finding was that they are perceived to be more sexually promiscuous, and that they tend to attract people who are looking for more casual relationships than serious ones. And many other studies seem to point to people with piercings and tattoos having higher correlations with impulsivity and more experience with trauma and adversity.
Look, for me, if you want a tattoo, you go, girl. But for me, why would I put like, not to use a boomer saying because this is, like, what my parents said, but, like, why would you put a bumper sticker on a Bentley? And that's truly how I feel about myself, like, why ruin what's already good?
A study from BMC Psychology seemed to find a strong correlation between body modifications and people who experienced childhood abuse and neglect. And this one really stood out to me. This one found a notable prevalence of individuals with a high number of body modifications and borderline personality disorder. Now, this is not to say that individuals with piercings and tattoos are all degenerate
Oopsies.
problem children undeserving of love. I myself have a belly button piercing and an entire side piece, and I find myself to be pretty well adjusted and have had a lot of success in my relationships. But it does beg the question, could there be any legitimacy to the nose ring theory, or is it mostly just something that jerks shout at people they disagree with online when they happen to have a nose ring? My ultimate conclusion? Probably both. Obviously, even with all of these studies and research papers, you're never going to be able to make a correct, sweeping blanket generalization about every one kind of person who looks a certain way.
Okay, genuinely, like, I know that I meme a lot, but genuinely, that's a good take. I don't think that this is in any way conclusive, but I do think that it's funny how it kind of lines up in some ways.
In the case of the first video we watched, where the girl is describing her issues with relationships with men, we know that people did at least initially find her very attractive, as she even cites at the end of the video that I cut off that both men and women have described completely falling in love with her. And when I first listened to her story, I wasn't even making any judgments about her physical appearance. I was truly waiting for the other shoe to drop of when she was going to describe some consistent patterns of behavior that might lead to all of this correlation. In her case, I definitely think that being a vocal man-hater was probably the linchpin in the disruption in her relationships
Yes, clock
with
it,
men, but
T.
certainly not all women with piercings and tattoos feel that way. In fact, here are some examples of super pierced and tattooed girls in very happy relationships with men.
Okay, but okay. Can we just talk about how all of these, like, crazy looking alternative chicks have, like, the fluffiest, most milk toast looking boyfriends?
What is this? What is this, please?
Also, it's so funny how they always go for the nerdy gamer guys. But this is what
On
makes the
God.
nose ring theory so
On God.
complex, because if the first video were to be enough to prove that it's accurate, then all of these other videos should be enough to disprove it, right? At the end of the day, the nose ring theory is just that, a theory, an idea worth discussing. Is it true that people with a lot of tattoos and piercings tend to be a bit more rebellious, chaotic, and traumatized? Yeah, probably, but does it make them inherently undateable? No. Some of them are. Some of them are absolutely undateable, but not all of them. As with most things, it's a case-by-case scenario, and it's always more important to pay attention to how a person behaves or what they believe in than it is to try and find secret clues in how they look or dress. Anyway, that has been my analysis on nose ring theory. If you liked my coverage, please drop a like on the video, consider subscribing. We are so close.
All right, we don't need to listen to her outro, but honestly, like, based take. She wasn't trying to convince us one way or the other. She was presenting evidence. She was talking about it pretty neutrally, and I really appreciated that. At the end of the day, I don't know if I believe in it, but I do think that there's a heavy correlation. Either way, I'll see you tomorrow, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.